So when we said the function, our logarithm function. So logarithmic function is log x. This is my input and this is my base. So we said that there are situations or conditions. One thing we said is x is gonna be greater than zero. This is my condition first. Then second condition was a is not equal to one. And then the third condition is a is gonna be greater than zero. So these are the conditions for me on this one. Basis this change of condition, there will be things which will be changing here. So what will happen if you plot the graph actually of the logarithm? So of course, what you got to do is that you got to know the values of different things. So we'll look at that. So very first thing what we are doing is that a is greater than zero, and the graph which we are plotting here is that a is greater than one as well. Okay, so the graph which we are plotting over here is for the a greater than one. So the a is greater than zero and a is greater than one. So how the graph would look like is this. The graph would go like this. So it is gonna cut the y-axis over here, wherein your value of this is gonna become equal to one. So at this point, this is gonna cut. So logarithm is gonna become zero here. When the value of x is less than one. So what is happening to the left of it? Value of x is less than one. So this is the part wherein the value of x is less than one. So I'm just saying how do I show this? So this is the part wherein x is less than one. This is the part from where the x is actually from here on the x is greater than one. So when x is greater than one, this part is gonna be positive. So you can understand if your this part logarithm a to the base a is there. For example, as I said, a is greater than one, right? So if it is a to the base a, then this is gonna be one, right? So take the case. So what will happen is that at this value, this is the value wherein there will be this is one, and this is gonna be your a here. Okay. When this input, this is actually x, right? So when x is actually equal to a, this is what will be one. Now when x is say equal to one, what will happen? When x is one, then this will be one, and this will be zero, right? Log one is zero. Now, when one it is less than one, for example. So when it is less than one, what I'm saying is that let's say take an example of x equals to one by a. As a is greater than one, so one by a will be less than one. So now a to the this is a and this is a to the power minus one, right? I can write right x one by a to the power minus one. Then can I write this as minus one into log a to the base a? So can you see this is a number which is negative? In the same manner, if you can take x is equals to 1 by a square. So again, this number will be less than 1. Now again, you can see that when it is a to the power minus 2, this will become minus 2 itself. So now what you're getting is that whenever x is gonna be less than 1, this quantity will be negative, and it is what is showing here. This is your y-axis. This is your negative y-axis. This is your x-axis. This is your negative axis. So if your a is greater than 1, this is how the graph will look like. Okay. Now this is another graph which will look like, and the situation is gonna change a little bit. In this case, what will happen is that your a is this time less than 1. If your a is actually less than 1, your graph will actually change in this shape. Your graph will change in this shape. And this is what is gonna happen here. This is the point which is 1. And when this is the point wherein x is less than 1. And this is where x is actually greater than 1. Log x to the base a. This is the graph of log x to the base a. Now, why is this? Why when a is less than 1, when x is also less than 1, this graph is positive, and when x is greater than 1, why this graph is negative is what we are gonna look at now. Okay, so What we are looking at is now this. So when this is what it is, right? So this is your log a, for example, and then I'm taking as x is less than 1, so I'm taking a square, for example. So what will happen is, let's say, we can just put the numbers and then see it that way as well, because that will make sense for us. So let's say this is log half. This is a value which is, I'm putting the value of a as half. Now, any number which is gonna be greater than 1, for example, if I'm having 1 over here, right? So at 1, this will become 0 for sure. When it is 1 by 2 and this becomes 2, what will happen? So uh this is, can I write this as also 1 upon log half to the base 2? Then can I write this as 1 upon log 2 to the power minus 1 upon to the base 2? Or can I write it as 1 upon minus 1 log 2 to the base 2? This will become minus 1. So as the value of a is less than 1, when you are having the value of x greater than 1, then what would happen is that this quantity will be negative. So as the value of x is increasing, so the value of logarithm will be decreasing. And let's say vice versa, what would happen? Log 1 by 4, for example, to the base 1 by 2. Now I can write this as log half square to the base half. Now I can take 2 to the outside and I can say that log half to the base half. And what you can see, this is positive. So the number, when it is going smaller and smaller, this quantity will become larger and larger and positive and positive.